Day 3 of my Feminist Book Roundup. If the word bitch has ever been used to describe you, congratulations, you're my target audience. So this is called Bitch by Elizabeth Wurtzel. I read this book in college. It still has my college used campus book sticker on it. I never took it off, and now I'm afraid to because I think it's the only thing holding it together. A long fucking time since I've been in school. This book is for any woman who's ever been called a bitch, who's ever been called too emotional or too loud or just too much of anything. She talks a lot about the cultural obsession with good girls and what that means and who decided what a good girl is. The byline of this book is in praise of difficult women. She talks about how being labeled a bitch or any other number of words that a lot of people are going to use to describe you. She talks about how it's really just a reaction to, it's really just what happens when you refuse to shrink yourself down to make other people feel more comfortable. That's basically what being a bitch is a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong, there are people who are just horrible people and you want to call them a bitch, and that's fine. It's a different thing. But when you are in an argument about feminism, or if you're talking to someone and they can't argue their way around you because you're presenting the argument better, whether you are right or not, and they just turn around and call you a bitch because they don't know what else to say. That's what we're talking about. The reason I really love this book is because up until I read this book, I used to not like being called a feminist. I didn't want to say that I was a feminist. I felt like I was that girl who was like, well, I'm not a feminist, because I just had this idea of what feminists were. And it was based entirely on what men were telling me feminists were. Shocking. I just had this idea of what it was, and I knew that I wasn't that. I didn't think that I was that. I don't hate men, and I don't think that women need to be superior. Feminists are just feminazis who hate men. There are definitely some extremist versions of being a feminist out there, just like there are in lots of movements. Lots of movements are co-opted by crazy people. Okay? These people don't represent the whole. This book kind of tries to explain how there's this push to make you believe that all feminists are this thing that they're not. That any woman who is a feminist in any way, and I mean even in, basic bitch kind of ways, in the most basic way, you're just a feminazi or a lesbian. There are extremes in every group, but only in feminism have they convinced women that feminism is something to stay away from, which is absolutely insane if you really think about it. I heard this quote once. I read it on a meme somewhere or something, and it's really true. And it said, men are brilliant because they've convinced the world that anger isn't an emotion. And they call us the more emotional sex. And that's why that's why we shouldn't be in charge of things. And that's why they don't like working with women, because they're over emotional. You put anger into the mix of emotional, men are way more emotional than women. I've never kicked a wall because my sports team didn't win. I've never hurt the family pet because I'm angry about something. I've never broken a pool cue or a window or anything. I've never lashed out like that because I don't need to. I know how to handle my anger better because women are taught how to handle their anger better. So, but I just think that that's really it's really something that's stuck with me for a really long time because it's so true. It's so true. Women are called the more emotional sex, and it's only because we cut anger and put it in a different place. I read another great quote that said that men get angry when they realize that their wives don't treat them like their mothers did. And they also get angry when they realize that their daughters don't let them get away with as much as their wives do. And it's really true. It's really true. They don't like it if you don't fit the mold, or the mold that they've decided you should fit. So they try to put you back into one. So you're a feminist, which means you must hate men. You're an abortion having angry woman who's never gonna, no man's ever gonna want you, as if that's the goal of every woman. You just think everyone's trying to oppress you and you're using it as an excuse and all of these things just to tell you you're a bitch. So what this book really helps you do is to own that and to just say, yep, I guess I am. I guess I'm a bitch. Yep. If they're gonna throw that at you as a means to try to fit you back into the box that they want you in, then you've got to own it. You've just got to say, yep, that's what I am. If you're upsetting a guy and he's getting mad at you because you exist or because you're not obeying him, which is a lot of times the reason why a guy is mad at you. If a man in your life, your husband, your boyfriend, someone, even in the workplace, if they're mad at you, it's because you're not obeying them. You don't have to smile like a show horse. No one asks men to smile more. You'd be so pretty if you'd just be prettier, sir, if you'd smile. Men can exist without an apology. And it happens with women too. Women can label you as being difficult. And a big part of it is because all they know about being a woman is what they've been told by men. Because that's the voice that means something to them. Unfortunately, they haven't learned to listen to other women's voices. They listen to the men's voice because that's the loudest one. They don't want to be labeled a bitch. They want to be they want to be liked by other men. They're the type of woman who says, well, I would love to be friends with girls, but they're just too much drama. I like being friends with guys more. I'm telling you, never trust that woman. I'm telling you that. We all know. The girls who know what I'm talking about, we know, right? But it's out of fear a lot of the time. They don't want to be labeled. They see how men talk about those women and they don't want to be in that group. Okay, they know that whatever they're going through is bad, but it ain't as bad as them. They're Marthas, but they don't have to be handmaids. So they're gonna do their Martha stuff and agree with everyone and just try to stay as, safe as possible. And so they don't want to be labeled as that, and they want to be part of the fun crowd, and they want to be, they want to be liked by men a lot of the time, and that's okay. I mean, there's a part of everyone who feels like, a lot of women feel like that. I don't want to be hated. I don't want to be labeled as something, but you're going to be labeled as something no matter what. So it's kind of a betrayal. It really is kind of a betrayal to other women, but it's a good read. It's one of the few books from college that I didn't sell back to get some money back. If you'd like to buy this book, follow the link in my description. I get like a penny or so if you buy it from that link, or if you have a library card, just go to the library and read it, damn it. Just go to the freaking library and read it.